Hey guys, what's going on? It's Yuri. So today I'm doing a long-term a follow-up with my GT LTS Sensor Elite from 2019. Got the bike brand new and just doing a follow-up how my experience has been with the bike for that amount of time. So far this whole entire bike is done exceptionally well. The only real two problems I had were I'm sure I can almost spot it, but it's really no fault of the frame. When it got converted to tubeless, I had blown out the tire and then it wouldn't hold air, and then same with the front, but I didn't blow out the front and it just wouldn't hold air. So the shop redid it and now it's holding air, but I've blown it out technically twice, but yeah, that's more of my fault because first one I was hitting this set of doubles and I didn't land it right. I landed on the berm, so I landed this way on a banked angle, and that kind of landing just ripped the bead off the rim and blew out my rear tire. Second time I basically blew out this tire. I was going off this one jump, and it's probably, in all honesty, when you get off it, has to be, your rear wheel is probably like, yeah, this high from where the bike stand is off the ground, like me at least, when you go, because at your max height. And when I landed, there's no landing, so it's like a Huck to flat, except it's on kind of patchy, soft, hard dirt, and I must have caught it right where it's dirt soft and hard, because then it ripped the bead off again and just popped. I lost a lot. It ripped it off completely. So I was able to, some guy out there by the name of Kansas, kind of cool name, it's a name where I don't know if you'd expect a bike pump from a guy with that name, but maybe it's like, if he rode a Harley or something, he'd be like, oh yeah, Kansas. But anyway, he loaned me out a pump, and I was able to fill a higher volume pump, and I was able to fill this, so without having to go back home. But now the tires have held. It's been good. The other thing that I've only had issues with is this SRAM crankset. What was happening every single time is I would do at least a 15 miler every 15 miles. This crankset, I take that back, no, every 7 miles on a 15-mile ride, this would come loose, this bolt would be loose, and the crankset was about to fall off. So adjusted everything and torqued it, and it would come loose still. Did it Loctite, came loose again. So then I gave up. I had the guys at G.H.Y try to figure it out. And what had happened is, I didn't know this, so learning lesson for my next bikes I get. I thought that the external bottom bracket here was tight, or already threaded in all the way, right? At, the 50 nanometers, or Newton meters, sorry. And no, it was like about 2 or 3 turns loose on this side, and on the other side was another 2-3 turns loose. So the shop took out the bottom bracket, greased it, cleaned it, greased it, put it back together. Same with the crankset. Took it apart, cleaned it, greased it, Loctite, put it back together. Torqued it up to spec, and I haven't had an issue since. That said, I haven't taken apart or had the pivots here serviced at all. I know that there's a few people on the GT forums that have tried it. At least 2 people have had experiences where I forget if it's I think it's this pivot or one of these two, where something snapped or whatever, failed, and they couldn't get then it's pretty much a ruined frame, and it's a warranty claim. So I forget what the outcome is for both, but if you guys follow any of the GT forums, like I think it's GT mountain bike owners with a period at the end on Facebook, I think somebody had mentioned that. And then there was another guy, Rich Kelly, on the Facebook GT mountain bike forum, same bike as me, same Sensor Elite, and he had a defective frame. Like, you could press in this area and it was super soft, like it was like pressing on like my forearm. You know, like it looked kind of, and you could hear the noise, like oh, that's horrible. So GT, he did a follow-up, and GT had honored that warranty frame and given him the gold pro frame from that year. So the nice gold frame, which is a really cool frame too. And you know, I think when I do the pivots, or when I have that serviced, either or, I think I will have, if it fails, I will do a follow-up. I've debated about seeing if the shop would be okay with me filming me servicing the rear end and then making a tutorial video for everybody. I think that'd be cool. I haven't talked with the owner about it in depth, but be something fun. But anyway, for those of you that haven't, everything else has been working really good. You know, this 12-speed setup, haven't had any of the skipping or you know, like haven't had skipping or any kind of issues with the drivetrain at all. That's been very good. The suspension still good. I know I'm gonna have to turn these both in for service, you know, probably over to Greg McKenzie at Butter Suspension. I'm sure he can work on these because they're both SRAM. And then I think I'm gonna leave everything as is. Like, there isn't an upgrade or anything that I'm itching to do. I think it's the bike has been so good. I haven't even cut. I've left this all original too. I haven't even cut this down. Like, I just love how this bike has felt. I haven't changed anything. I don't plan on upgrading anything, like to make it lighter or quote-unquote faster or something. When the tires wear out, I will likely go to Vittoria's, because that's my favorite tire. But you know, obviously I'm just using these for the time being because, yeah, they're good. I mean, they're not too much of a tractor tire, and they do the job. I should say. So yeah, let's rehash the bike again for those of you that aren't familiar with the bike and it's your first time ever seeing my video about this bike. So here, this is a custom cap made by Custom Caps. These are handlebar end plugs. There's a group of guys and we call ourselves the Old Man Jump Club, even though this is upside down, and I call this my Air Force One bike because it's the one bike I like jumping on the most. It's the most comfortable for my full suspensions. The Zaskars are great jumping bikes. For full suspensions, the Sensor is a really good jumping bike, up there with the Sanction. So and I haven't even tried the last iteration Distortion. I know that's a factory bike, so you know, I know I'll probably never be able to tell you how that goes. But yeah, I accidentally bought the road bike caps. The mountain bike ones flange out a little bit more, so then you don't have this exposed, but it's fine. It looks flat. It's a flush look, and that's cool. Here, my friend Alan sold me this is Spank Spoon 785s. These have been cut down to about roughly 720 millimeter width. I like it that way. I like the rise on it too. For this bike to be such a nice jumper, it's fun because it's a little more upright too, so it has a little bit of that BMX cruiser feel when I hit those jumps, so it's fun. It's comfortable. It's at home for me. Here I use the Magura, of course, the Magura MT for the infamous on every single bike, Magura MT5 brakes. I love the 4-piston brakes. People talk about the bleeding issue. I haven't done the brakes personally myself. I always have the guys at G.H.Y do them, with one exception, where my friend Vince did. I think he did. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna say, for all intents and purposes, the guys at G.H.Y have done practically all my Magura MT5 hydraulic disc swap conversions. So I love the MT5s, even over the MT7s, believe it or not, because they're interchangeable. A lot of the parts are. The performance is identical, and you're paying a lot less. So love them. Here's the SRAM NX, of course, shifter, the one that didn't fail. The one I got on my Zaskar Alloy Elite failed, so but this one has held up. It's been good, like I mentioned about the drivetrain. This, of course, this is a really nice. Let's go on the other side. You know, this is a nice RockShox sector fork. You know, I enjoy it a lot because easy, nice, easy to work on. Has the PSI readings here, so you know how to, you know, what to fill it with. You know, it's as it shows you here, gives you the through axle specs, so you know it's boost 110. You know, let's see, get on the other side. Yikes. And here it's the 51mm offset, 130mm travel fork, same with the rear. And it's on a 29er wheel. So, and then that's the rebound. And it works. It's discernible. Like you can tell it works. And let's see. Oh yeah. And then these are, I forget. I think these are the WTB I-23 rims on, I forget what kind of hoop or what kind of hub. I'm still running the SRAM rotors on this bike with my Magura MC5 brakes, and you know, they stop stupid well. The Schwalbe knobby Nick tires, yeah, they've done okay. I mean, a little bit too soft on the sidewall for my preference, but these are the 29 by 2.35s. I run roughly about 25 psi in these tires. It's almost like I treat them like tubes for some reason. I don't know, it's a just terrible habit to do. Here, of course, you get a little bit of frame protection. Here, it's a decent sized rubber piece. I mean, you know, I don't know if you hit trials on a rock. I think that would be the end of it. Here, like if you wanted to put a chain guide, you can. Like you can see where my finger is. There's the tabs, and I forget what the ISCG mounts are, what the specific number is. I know there's a few versions out there, so, but I can't say this is a replaceable piece, as you can tell here. Like you can replace that. So if you bust that out, you can get the replacement part from GT. They usually have these in stock for many years. Like even it never hurts to ask GT if they have any of the factory frame parts. Like don't even, sometimes they have stuff from 2013, believe it or not. So it's worth asking. Here's the flip chip stuff. I've always left it in high. People are like, I don't know, a lot of people mention like it's so night and day between the two. I even to this day, it's not a deal breaker if it never had this, because mind you, right, like you guys see my videos where I'm riding a 2001 iDrive. Like when I hop on this bike, regardless of what setting this is still like an overall fantastic bike. And so I don't have issues with, I can't notice the difference. Like I swear everybody's like, hey, like, oh man, it feels sharper and stuff. Dude, I was on a Univega from 1998. Trust me, like I don't notice the difference. I almost don't care because the bike as a whole feels so good. That said, I think if you guys are, this is a carbon version, so this is a carbon front triangle, aluminum rear end, as you can tell by the welds. If a lot of you are on a budget, the aluminum front end one is perfectly fine. Like it's a bike you can upgrade later, but you get everything that this bike, the carbon version, offers. 148 boost. You still get a tapered head tube. You still get, you know, like through axles. It's not like they cheaped it out with a quick release or a 141. The new trend, the 141, yeah, gross. And then not a fan. I like give people a 142, or I don't know. I know it changes price point, but you still get all the options. You even still get flip chip. They don't cheapen out anything, except they just give you an aluminum frame, and it's gonna weigh a little bit more. This bike still ballpark is like closer in the 28, 29, even it wants to creep up to 30, but you know, whatever. That said, now that I'm looking at the dropper post, even a dropper post, I'm surprised as many times as I've used it, this X Fusion Manic dropper has held up. It's done a really nice job. The lever's been very good. the durability, the ergonomics, like everything has been very nice. And same with the race face half Nelson grips. I like them a lot, you know, like, and including the stock stem on here, which is a 31.8 millimeter clamp diameter here, and I think it's a 35 millimeter length here. Like, this is a 35 millimeter length stem on a 1 1/8 steer tube, obviously, you know, clamp diameter. So, and the FSA headset's been good. Like, you just clean it, you know, of course, clean it out, bottom and top, right? Re-grease it, throw them back in, and they're good. Like I said, the whole entire bike is held up, even in durability of saddle. Like, it's been very good. I love the bike. It's great. You know, I'm glad that the crankset got sorted out, and I don't even think I would ever do anything with the suspension. Like, I know a lot of people push it more. I should say I'm 5 foot rough. I'm gonna just bump it up. I'm gonna say 5'7", and this is a size medium frame. And here's the groove tube. If you guys are checking this out for the first time, you know, as you can tell, like, from a side view, it's pretty tidy. And then up here it's clean. And then if you have a water bottle cage, right, you can see you can get it in between. This is a $4 like $4 water bottle cage. I just wanted to try it. Not all that great. Try the one from Pacific. I want to say it's Pacific Design Works. They make one of a Lucky Cat in black. I think I'm gonna go for that. I've tried a few other products, really good. I saw this and I said, I just want to see how this holds up. Like, how cheap is $4? And it's not the worst thing. It's just if you're getting really rowdy and you're hitting up really rocky technical terrain on the descent, you will pop your water bottle out. I almost can guarantee it. So you got to be, if you have the bigger, I think bigger than the 22 ounce bottle, or at least a 22 ounce bottle. If you have the little short bottle, then it's fine, it'll hold. But if you hit rockier stuff, game over. Like, you're gonna be stopping a few times to pick up and put on your water bottle, unless you rock a Camelback. It's not an issue. So anyway, that's it for the my review. Oh, sorry, I just have to mention this because everybody wants to put wider tires on theirs. These are 2.35s. I have small hands, and you can see how much wiggle room I got right there. It's not much, so I think you can get away with an inch. Same here. Well, if you change the fork out, right? But if we're talking about the stock fork on a Sector RL fork, it's like same thing. So you can't be putting on fat tires, or I don't think plus size, but I mean, I think these are the right width. I think if you go wider, then the bike is going to feel a little bit clumsy, because it's right at that cusp of feeling like like you could do a cross-country race on it, have a really good time, especially if you throw in some Barzos or Mezcals. Like, oh my god, be a fast bike. Or here, you just have a really good trail bike. I like, it's a fantastic full suspension trail bike. I'd love to see when that time comes to get the pivot service, and I will probably do that in the winter, just to see where I'm at with it, or how the bike is held up, and you know, kind of go off the shop's recommendations, and then I'll do a follow-up on that, like how easy is it, or how did the pivots hold up, you know, because I know at least some people have had bad luck. But anyway, that's it. The weather was good, so I was like, and I know it's kind of expected to rain in my area, so I was like, I better run out here and do a video for you guys, because I know I haven't done a video on this thing. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me, like, any of you. I'm happy to guide you. If there's any GT bike on the catalog, I'm serious, like, just feel free to ask me on my 2 cents on it. I can always find you the resources or get you some input, you know, on at least the Sensor and the Zasker bikes, because this is probably the only bike I'm going to leave stock except for the tires. That's the next one I'm itching for. This is a good fork. I know, yeah, it's no Fox 36, boo-hoo, but I mean, there's a lot of people that can't ride to the fork's capability. Like, I'm going to be dead honest. Unless you're out in Squamish and you live there and you're and that's all you do, I mean, this fork is going to be fine for a lot of people, including me. And I'm not even a pro rider. So anyway, that's it, guys and gals. Thanks for watching. Ask me any questions you guys got about the bike or talk bikes, and I'm totally okay with that. All right, I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.